what's up? Red Panda Anthem. Red Panda, what's good? Dogecoin is back on the rise. Is now the time to invest. The mighty, mighty Dogecoin.
The Doge father himself.
The invincible Dogecoin.
I'm torn, but since Elon has retaken over control of Twitter, and I know the use of some offensive words have went up 500% since he's taken over. But I'm gonna stick with the financials, then we can go to the political. I think everyone is wondering how he is going to raise revenue. If he owns that platform now, and even though he borrowed a lot of the money from the bank and he financed the buy of Twitter, still a loan that he has to pay off, I would not be very surprised if Elon puts a considerable amount of time into pumping Doge and a couple other crypto to push over the next couple of months. I said maybe 8 months ago, 5 cents and 11 was the price to get in. If you got in at 11, great. 5 was even better. I still don't like it as an asset class. For me, it's always going to be a swing trade. It's not a long-term hold. But for those of you that are getting in at lower prices, it'll be a good time to get in around that 5 cent or 3 cent mark, hold it for maybe 6-7 months. Is it ever going to take over how people thought it was? No. Is AMC or GameStop going to take over? Absolutely not. But it is a good trade if you catch it at 5 cent or 3 cent.
Yeah, I'm glad you made that disclaimer between a swing trade and a long-term hold, because most people will just hear the sound bite and say, oh, they said to invest in Doge. I still don't know its use case.
There's no use case for it.
I don't think anyone's going to find the use case. So it's tough to me to say, like, okay, you should invest in that. Could you swing trade it and make money? Yeah, you could. But trading has considerable risk. So make sure.
Please consult your advisor. I know one by the name of Rashad Bilal. Trap, let me use your remix. Don't touch Doge for the long term, please. Chris, clip that up. And Doge has no use case. It is the Tekashi of all the tokens. Purely a troll.
Troll
no
coin.
Use.
That's a new category.
Troll coin is fire. Amy, can we go trademark that, please?
Somebody go on.
The troll coin. So, all right, let's talk about this then. What's the 3 biggest concerns in the market right now?
Number one, my biggest fear is if we do not go back to quantitative easing, that we're going to have probably a flat half of a decade. Whenever I'm asking people what can make the market go up, they're saying better economy. What could cause a better economy? There's no real answer. I think we're going through a revolutionary period, the cycle that people don't like. But if they don't start putting in some QE in 2024, 2025, I think things will be tight until the end of this decade. Number 2, it scares me that they still won't officially announce that we are in a recession. And when anyone ever so back in the day, like 4th grade, shout out to my mom and dad, I had my report card. I'm like, Miss Joe didn't release the report cards. I would hold the information if things were really bad, right? So if they're withholding that we are in a recession, and Bezos is saying it and Elon is saying it, and if Bezos is concerned with all those billions of dollars that we have to tighten our belts, what are the real numbers that we're facing? I think this thing is probably going to be bigger than 2008, because we've never had the bond market fall apart while tech was falling apart and the general market and GDP was falling apart.
So shout out to Caleb Silver.
Yes.
He was at the VIP event yesterday, and he had a different take on it. He said that in his opinion, he felt like the definition of recession isn't really relevant to today's times.
Wait, that sounds familiar to something I said 3 weeks ago. You guys remember this?
And he
I do.
Okay.
He also said that there's a variety of different factors that lead him to believe that it won't be as bad as some people.
And what were some of those reasons for those who couldn't attend that amazing event? The vibe there was amazing.
Oh, it was heavy on the energy. Heavy on the energy. What were some of the reasons?
He said, well, if you look at GDP, you look at the job market, obviously inflation.
It's not as bad. He said the job market's not hit as bad.
We said, like, these are the things, like, 3 ways ago, I read those statistics. I'm like, if the factors that usually equal a recession, like unemployment, right? Mm-hmm. Look at the level that unemployment is at, right? In a recession, that number is a lot higher. The factors that used to equate to a recession aren't equating. It's a different time. It's a different market. And I said it because I got to give credit to Josh Brown. I heard him saying it, and I was like, yo, I kind of felt that way when I'm looking at these numbers. How come this doesn't feel like it? But by definition, and I'm glad that Caleb was there because Investopedia is an amazing, and probably the
best I love Caleb.
When we're talking about information. By definition, we are in one, but it doesn't feel like it. He also said that for some people, they've been in a recession for the past 3 to 5 years. They're just like, oh, you guys are just now saying it? And for some, it's like, all right, well, it's business as usual. Yeah, we have to tighten our belt, but it's still business. So all the fact, like the times have changed, so maybe the definition changes.
Okay, so back in the day, when I was a dog, and then like my girl will walk in and somebody was kissing on my neck at a party, and I'd be like, baby, I wasn't even kissing her. She was kissing me.
Shaggy rules.
That's what economists are doing right now.
Shaggy.
They're changing the boundaries and definition of what a recession is because people don't want to lose their jobs. Sad news for you. You're about to lose your job, right? And they're trying to protect Biden from having that R word, that scarlet R on his jacket. I agree with some points what Caleb says. I love him dearly, amazing person. When I talk to Black people, though, and I say, does this feel worse? I see terror on our faces. My baseline, same thing with like, what you call it, the ear test of like something is hot. When I'm talking to people, if they're concerned or not, when quantitative easing goes away, even for businesses, it's not as easy for everyone to start a business. I'm seeing a lot of people trying to launch products now and services, and those first month launch numbers was not as good as they report to. Let me say this. Okay, if we're not in a recession, Meta fell from 300 down to 90. Amazon fell to the 90s. Square has fallen apart, which Jack needs to focus more solely on that company. These are the biggest companies in the world. They're going through a recession. The average person is going to tell me that they're not hurting. Mark Zuckerberg, Meta's not even a top 25 company anymore.
Yeah, it fell.
And the average Black person is just balling.
I don't even know if they're balling.
They're not dribbling. They're not in the arena. If we're going to be honest, if the world's wealthiest people are hurting right now, as my grandma will say, it's all.
I'll challenge you to name a time when we were in the arena.
1920s, 1930s.
I mean, so you're talking about almost 100 years. That's why, I mean, obviously this moment in time is so significant and so important. And that's why, America is important, but that's why Europe is important to us. That's why we're here to spread financial revolution.
Absolutely.
We were never really in the arena, not in my lifetime, not in yours, not in my parents. So that's what I said. Like some people, like we've been in a recession, so we've acclimated to the circumstances.
It's really hard right now. And I got there's two things. So Buffett has an indicator with the Wilshire. You guys can go look that up. We talked about it before. I have another Buffett indicator on CNBC when things are normally. The market is dropping, but things are doing well. Him and Becky Quick normally sit down for 3 or 4 hours. You know this, Troy. And they'll sit in the grocery store, in the library, and he'll tell you how the American economy is so great. And if you invest in the S&P 500, Stormy killed it yesterday talking about life insurance in the S&P. You'll get 7% return. Buffett hasn't made a comment yet.
Yeah, he's quiet. I'll give you that.
He hasn't made one single commentary about the market being fine. Why? He's doing the work. Carl Icahn hasn't said anything. Bill Ackman didn't do his speech that he normally does to like try and boost his stocks and his revenue at this time. All the major investors are quiet. It's spooky hours out here right now. So I know some people say we may not be in a recession, but if we're going to remix things and say that we're not, and we're going to reframe them, then I want the kids to know me as Barack Obama. Then. If we're not telling the truth about what we are, I was the real James St. Patrick's then, if that's the case. Come on.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
This that Red Panda Anthem. Ian, what's up? This that Red Panda Anthem. Red Panda, what's good? Red Panda Anthem. Whole going up. I know they can't stand it.